What's going on, guys? This is Will Schusterick. I'm here with Idris Garcia, and we are commentating on Nooga 2019.
Thanks to the Chambliss Center for Children for letting us benefit them. They are a great community organization that has partnered with the Chattanooga Flying Disc Club several times. They help underprivileged kids and families, so thanks to them. And of course to Prodigy for also providing support for the event.
All right, so we are on the final round here at the dam, which is the Chickamauga Dam in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We are playing on some beautiful T3 Prodigy baskets. This is a temporary course, and as you saw the scores there, we're looking at hole 1, par 3, 200 feet. Idris, I know that you had a little bit of a help in designing the course. Idris also was the tournament director of this event. Why don't you give us a little bit of a breakdown of the benefits that you guys had?
Yeah, so this is at the Chickamauga Dam and a different layout than the Turkey. It's a super popular piece of property for tournaments here in Chattanooga. Joey and Kevin did most of the design work on this one, and Kevin has actually run the event the last couple of years, and before that Scott Snow ran it. It's kind of our Ice Bowl, our charity event. So
yeah, and that is Kevin Turner from Chattanooga. Big shout out to him and Joey Lutz for all the work that they do whenever putting on tournaments in the area and helping events and local communities out. As you can see, Joey Lutz right there, just kind of laying up for par. You're going to notice throughout the round that the course was beyond extreme muddy, I would say. This was one of the muddiest rounds it wasn't even necessarily rainy, but it was wet everywhere you stepped. It was just, your feet were just soaking wet. As first hole, a little bit off to the left right there, uphill 25-footer or so. As Brandon had a nice tee shot, starting out with the only birdie on hole number 1.
Yeah, it's a good birdie to get. It's kind of a tricky hole to start. It's a double mando through a tight little gap. Especially if it's windy. Luckily, the wind was still here, but last year it was pretty windy, and people were kind of freaking out about that double mando.
Yeah, I'm excited that we get to really showcase the T3 baskets from Prodigy. I know a lot of people really haven't got to see them a whole lot, but they are the first and only single-layer championship-approved basket by the PDGA. Very great, can't even talk right now, a great quality basket for the price. As we head on to hole number 2, 350 feet, slightly uphill, out of bounds to the left to right, sloping green, as Brandon Brown, who got the only birdie on the previous hole, is up.
Yeah, and this is a pretty standard hyzer shot. It's on the slope of a hill, so you may see a roll away, but it's not extraordinarily likely in these wet conditions. It was, like you said earlier, it was misting all day. We'd gotten a lot of rain before that. Practice day, the day before, was just pouring all day, and we were just fortunate to get away from that for the tournament round.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate to have a slight concrete tee pad on this, as we're using the walking path, which is out there at the park, as Joey Lutz pulls his just a little bit wide, but still does have a slight uphill look for birdie.
Yeah, it looks like it just hung out there on him. Here we're gonna see Phil Bucket Hat George, see what he's got. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that hat came from Costco.
That's a pretty good guess, and a pretty fantastic looking hat as well. As he rips one up there, that is a great drive looking there.
Yeah, great shot from him. This is KT Grant. He's a really great player here in the Chattanooga area. Super consistent, great putter, and an all-around nice guy. So good to see KT kind of stepping up. He gets a lot of heat around these parts for playing advanced these days, so it's good to see him in open.
As Joey just comes up 2 inches short on his drive right there, or his putt, 2 inches short on his putt, and as you said, Idris, with this left to right sloping hill, he gets a little bit of a roll away, which is unfortunate right there on this fairly open hole, as KT kind of he fortunately doesn't hit the basket, I would say, because
Yeah.
it's one of those times where you even want to make it, or
Great putt there.
that's definitely a confidence boost from missing a shorter putt on the previous hole, but always like making those 28-foot putts on within the first couple holes of the round.
Yeah, and here's BB lining up his putt. He is definitely an up-and-comer here in Tennessee. He's been down to Chattanooga a couple times already this year, and we love seeing him around here. Again, another good guy, great representative for us at Prodigy, and definitely getting better and better with each event.
Yeah, I would say Brandon Brown is one of the up-and-coming players.
No.
Come on, Phil. He just needs to tighten that bucket hat just a little bit more. Just needs to tighten it up. He'll tighten up the putts, tighten up the hat.
The look of disappointment is palpable.
It's a combo of those two, as Joey and Brandon and KT will drop in their pars.
I think Joey will be the one taking the bogey.
Joey will be taking the bogey. On the lone bogey on that hole.
Yeah, and shout out to Joey. He probably didn't get quite the warm-up that he wanted. He actually helped run the event, and he was just an awesome person to have around. He's always stepping up for us in Chattanooga.
All right, so after hole 2, I got the birdie on the hole. I am 10 under. Phil is 6 under. KT 6 under. Lutz 7 under. And then we are headed on to hole number 3.
Yeah, this is a 400-footer downhill, straight shot. Honestly, a really pretty hole. I mean, you're throwing through kind of a gap, and you get to really let the disc go and watch it fly.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of nice, 400-foot, really downhill holes, because you get a lot of players who can throw a putter mid-range, getting to the basket. I threw a 400 M3 on that shot right there, and I think that Brandon as well goes with a 400 M3 as he gets a little bit more fade on that. This is a great shot by Brandon. Even though this hole is 400 feet, you're going to see a lot of the players. Oh, it's a little bit of a late release. Just needs to tighten the hat just a little bit. He'll tighten down the shots.
KT going hyzer flip. Needs to flex back for him.
That's just a little bit outside, but not too bad of a look right there, as it's easy for these to kind of get away from you as you're headed downhill. The rocks behind the basket, although it is about 35 feet behind it, those are out of bounds. As Joey, I think, as well, is going with an M3 on this, and he's a little bit outside the tree right there, but still within putting.
Bit of an early release, but you'll have a look at it, Phil. I'm guessing he didn't have very good footing.
And also, too, just to kind of note on this, I'm going to say it several times throughout the video, but the conditions were, very tough. As you can see, there's puddles all on the ground everywhere you look. The tee pads are going to be just straight up mud as KT takes a run, kind of a longer look at birdie there.
Yeah, I didn't even play, and my walking conditions were rough as the TD. My shoes were constantly covered in mud. So, I mean, props to all the players. Everyone had such a good attitude about it and made it work and played a fun round.
Good run by Joey right there, as he just had a little bit of a step putt.
Another good one.
Little corner pocket action right there, as I'm going to have to take the long route
There you go.
to get to the basket.
Stepping carefully. There was a little bit of quicksand there in the middle. A good job avoiding it.
As Phil is looking to tap in to take his bogey. A little bit of a tough hole for Phil with a late release, and then an early release to go along with that.
Yeah, he cleans up and will avoid any more trouble. Gets off the hole and we're moving on.
And Brandon with that great drive.
Park job, really nice.
KT tapping in. And this course here actually does play for another course that you guys have probably seen on video for the Belgian turkey. You've probably noticed that really nice playground, or if the fog wasn't there, you would actually see a really nice lake or river as well, but you can't even see it in the video, which is kind of crazy to see.
Yeah, we'll play back towards it. They're in the back 9 for the last hole, so hopefully it'll be cleared up by then.
And hole number 4, we got 360 feet. Kind of slightly uphill on the tee pad as we are playing off some natural tees. I am throwing a 400 F1 in this hole. It's one of my favorite overstable fairway drivers. Just a slight hyzer going out to the right and just waiting for it to fade back into existence. But looks like it stayed a little bit outside of that camera angle.
Lost in the mist.
Lost in the mist. That's a good way to put it. And the temperature and weather stayed this, I think, since about 7:30 in the morning. I don't think the sun came out. I don't think a degree of temperature was dropped or added throughout the whole day.
Yeah, it was the same conditions from until the very last putts were dropping and then the bottom dropped out. But it stayed pretty steady all day, which was nice considering what it could have been.
Yeah, that was a great shot by Brandon and KT right there, as Joey is ripping one up there, and a little bit early, and he takes a big skip going down the hill. There is a drop off over there on the left. It's one of the main reasons why Brandon and I tried to stay over there on the right. I don't think Joey was too happy with that shot.
Good adjustment from Phil there to take it wide and stay away from that hill. You see Joey way down there. This is kind of a dangerous basket position. It's moved a little bit since last year. The hill came a lot more into play this year. And I saw a lot of people, if you were on the high side and were putting right back, you had a death putt this year, whereas last year it wasn't so much. Good run there from KT. Yeah,
KT just an inch short on that outside the circle look. And if I remember correctly, I was just trying to get around the tree.
Yeah, looks like you're straddling around there, making it work.
There you go.
Another good putt. Looks like your putter's been pretty hot since hole 1.
Yeah, just, sometimes you need to get an air ball out of the way.
Yeah.
Just so you can continue throughout your day.
That does fire you up sometimes. It's like, it's not happening.
As Brandon gets a little toilet bowl action there and rounds it around that old T3 basket, but
yeah, good putt. It looked like he was a little uncomfortable on hole 2 with his putt, and parked the next hole, so that was kind of the next test drive for hole 2, and hopefully it gives him a little confidence, even though it wasn't pretty just a good one.
As you can see Phil right there, he's kind of laughing it off.
Yeah.
Just wanting to, have a nice confident stroke. Even he's 12 feet away. That's not a bad confidence builder, I would say, from 12 feet. I mean, once again, it's all about the conditions and playing with the conditions. Absolutely. And a little bit chilly. I think I had about 5 or 6 layers on. As you can see Brandon, of course, in the background. Here's some B1 Max action. Brand new disc released by Prodigy. All right. After hole 4, I am 3 under. Phil is even, KT even, Joey +1, and Brandon at 3 under as well.
Yeah, Brandon is within 3 of you as well. Everyone else looking to keep up a little bit, but we'll see how it shapes up. Hole 5, 210 feet straight uphill. There is guardian trees on the right and left, which are pretty easy to catch if you're trying to hyzer flip something.
Yeah, and this is one of those shots you just need a very straight flying putter. I threw a 300 PA3 on that shot right there, just looking to get it dead straight as much as possible, as Brandon just gets a little bit of turn on his shot right there, and I think he was throwing a 400G PA4.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, you have to be pretty perfect on this shot, or else you're catching one of those trees. I saw a lot of shots that were looking good that I caught a tree at the last minute, and Phil, a little low, but makes it work.
Yeah, this is one of those shots that if you hit your gap, you're going to be putting and just a little bit off, as those trees are on the right and left side of the fairway. It's easy to knock it backwards, as we see KT throw that nice
Beautiful shot.
hyzer flip getting up the hill. I think he just has a little bit of a putt left. All right, now we got Joey looking to be throwing a uphill, a little bit of a understable putter sidearm.
Yeah, I believe that was a Berg, which he uses for a lot of upshots as well, and sneaks it by the tree. And there's Brandon from outside the circle.
Yeah, you can't really see from here. There is a road behind the basket, so you're not really running at these putts super hard.
Yeah, it's definitely a big-time risk if you run it pretty directly.
Joey with a nice pickup right there. Just a nice, easy, I would call that a Joey Lutz type shot, to where it's a slightly straight putter, a little bit of a hyzer release, flips almost to flat. That's like the definition of his game right there.
Yeah, and then just dies exactly where, right there, flat as well. It doesn't really hyzer out. Nice putt from KT as well.
Great putt there by KT. I always like to have these putts. Nice little tap in, as Brandon also has his tap in for par. That is hole number 5. Nice little 210-foot par 3 uphill. We're headed now across the parking lot. Idris, why don't you give us a little breakdown once again of the charity?
Yeah, so Chambliss Center for Children, they are a nonprofit organization here in town that just helps at-risk kids and low-income families, and they do a great job in our community.
Yeah, this tournament is really just really benefiting a great center there in Chambliss, as what Idris was saying, as hole 6, downhill, 285 feet. I am going with an H1 V2. This is kind of one of those standard sidearm shots. Even though that tree doesn't really come into play as it looks, you do have to throw it pretty wide on a backhand. As you can see, KT right there, he kind of plays
Really nice.
a really nice shot. Doesn't really get close to the tree. It's kind of a different depth perception, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. From the backhand side, the risk that you run is sawing it off and going down that hill, or kind of going with the slope, whereas with the sidearm, you're going back uphill the whole time. So wherever you land, you'll probably be a little bit closer.
And it looks like just about everybody's going for the sidearm route, as Brandon's breaking out his 750 H1, just meat hook over stability. As you can see, it's diving into the puddles over there by the basket.
That is casual water he just landed in.
If you mean casual water, are you saying the whole course is casual at this point?
Pretty much, yeah.
Looks like Phil is going with a backhand as well, a little bit low, but we're right next to each other, having about the same putt.
Good bid there from Phil. Yeah, just left his tee shot a little low, and it's outside the circle putts are bonus putts. So,
and I thought I had that one the whole way, about 35 feet or so, just a couple inches short. I don't know what happened to Brandon's foot right there.
I think he's stuck in a swamp. Up there it is.
Yep.
Yep.
He still has it.
Back out. Yeah,
He still has his
swamp
foot.
monster didn't get it.
Congrats on keeping your foot there, Brandon.
And on the birdie.
And the birdie, too. Same with Joey.
Yep, Joey, pretty standard there, which means that Phil and KT should be cleaning up here as well. KT with the birdie, Phil for par.
Yeah, and for those that are wondering what baskets we are playing on, we are using the new T3 basket from Prodigy, which is the only single-layer chain basket that is championship level approved. We use these temporary baskets near the North Georgia area or the Chattanooga area as well, just as nice baskets to use for portable courses, and they catch fantastic. So, it's a good bonus to have whenever you got some to use, and you can put up 18 nice baskets out there.
Yeah, for sure. And as you have a 3-stroke lead over Brandon still, we head into the longest hole on the course. This actually was a par 5 last year, but because of flooding, we had to move it out. It was actually in that tree line, but we had to move it out. So it's a par 4, 1,000 feet. Just really 2 big crushes. The first one is as far as you can go, and the second one probably want to hyzer a little bit more.
Yeah, and KT taking the box on this one. He's got a nice hyzer flip action coming out of his hand right there.
It looks like it just kind of stayed to the right, didn't really ever come back for that full flex. Joey goes a little bit higher, tries to get a little bit more distance.
That disc is lost in yeah, there it is, just in the bottom right-hand corner right there. Brandon is breaking out that D1 Max once again. It's a newer disc when this tournament was going on. Definitely a very long flying disc, because that's a good tale of the stability of the D1 Max right there.
For sure, a lot of glide, so even though it's stable, the hyzer's out, it pushes forward quite a bit. You're probably going D2 if I would have to guess.
Yeah, I love D2s, and that's just one of those discs that'll forever be in my bag. Just trying to rip it out there. It does have a little bit of a downgrade about halfway down the fairway. You can't really see where the disc lands, so you just want to keep it nice and straight. The basket is on the left-hand side going all the way down, as Phil really does. He rips this one. I thought this was one of the best throws from Phil so far.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to do. Just get the full flight of the disc out of it on this first shot, and then this second shot plays a little bit more to the left on a hyzer line.
Yeah, I think KT was looking for that one just to ride the hyzer the whole time, and I think it kind of flipped over on him a little bit. But like he said, he was just playing for 4 on it.
Phil rips over on that one, probably trying to bite off a little bit too much instead of letting the disc work.
I think he made the joke of the wind is better over there. Once again, here's Brandon ripping on that D1 Max.
Yeah, and that's the line that you want right there. Just something flat that's going to hyzer out at the end.
That's a great shot. And once again, I am going with a D2, but that one is a 400G Spectrum. Just going with a nice big hyzer shot. I think Joey is about to do the same here. He has the best drive out of the group.
Yeah, really nice shot from Joey off the tee, and looking to capitalize and hopefully get his birdie.
KT looking to get up and down for his par. I would say that this is his strength.
But yeah, KKT, great putt from Joey.
Yeah, Joey just with I'll call that the baby step putt, as he staring down the car. Just with the little baby step putt right there. Great putt by Joey. There's not too much of a drop off behind the basket, just a little bit for you to think of, but nothing to hold you back from running at that birdie putt.
Looks like if you're the one that is next out, looks like everybody else is pretty close.
Yeah, it was a great upshot there by Brandon. Looked like it had a chance to go in, but once again, probably putting from a swamp, you're not really going to get a whole lot of skips.
Right. Yeah, that's probably the only benefit of playing in conditions like this. The footing is going to stink, but at least you can count on your shots, being pretty much just sitting and staying wherever you hit them.
I'm a huge fan of Phil's hat. I think it calls for the conditions call for these hats.
Yeah, no matter what the conditions are, really. I mean, when it's raining, it keeps the water out of your eyes. When it's sunny, it keeps the sun out. I mean, it's just an all-around great hat.
Ideal.
Setting
a standard.
Absolutely. That's what Phil does, is set standards.
All right, well, that was the longest hole on the course. Once again, 1,000 feet, slightly downhill. I am sitting at 5 under. Phil is at even. KT 2 under, Joey 2 under, and Brandon at 5 under. And we're headed on to a somewhat tricky par 4, 570 feet. As you can see the Mando right there. You need to stay to the left of the ducks, and left of the pole as well. 570 feet. The water on the right-hand side is out of bounds, and the road on the left is out of bounds. And Joey just rips out that massive forehand once again and plays I think he was looking for the skip off the road, but still a great shot.
Yeah, I really like this hole. This is one of my favorite holes on this layout. It's just kind of a fun second shot to sort of throw over the water and not throw into that hill that's on the backside. It's just a cool I think it's a cool second shot.
Yeah, it's a great placement. The Mando is about 250 to 275 off the tee pad, so it's not necessarily hard to get around, but it does come into your mind because you can't just throw a straight turnover around the Mando. You do have to throw a hyzer flip, which I kind of threw right there with an M4, just a slide hyzer, getting it to slow fade and kind of play the left to right hill.
And that one looks like it came out a little early for KT, probably looking for a similar shot as you, but stays out of danger, doesn't go out of bounds, so he'll still have a chance to get up and down for his birdie.
And this is one of those, I would say this is is it a benefit or maybe a strategy with these shorter par fours, as we're watching Phil throw also a great shot right there. I think he threw an 750 F3. But a good strategy on these holes is to really play it somewhat safe. Nobody's going to be reaching this basket off of the tee pad. But as soon as you're 300 feet off the tee, you really have a standard 270-foot upshot to the basket. So you just want to have a nice flat release and get it to slow turn, and you're going to be putting for birdie, as we see Phil is doing right there.
And that's an easy miss, is to go long and hit the hill, because you're trying to avoid the OB that's short. So you just want to make sure that you're long enough as Joey saws off his sidearm, and there's the danger right there.
Yeah, and I was actually off on the tee pad area talking about the out of bounds. The out of bounds is actually the flag, so it's the top of the hill, not even necessarily the water. As we see Brandon looking to throw just a slow fading putter. Great shot right there by Brandon, just taking the OB out of play. It makes it seem like I am so much closer to the basket right here from this camera angle. Maybe I was that close. I don't know.
Whoa, close enough to hit it.
Got a little touch on the bottom cage right there.
Good run from KT up there.
Yeah, that's a tough putt looking straight downhill. There's not a ton of problems around the basket. You know, you can pretty much run at it from any direction, but as we see Joey just kind of flailed his upshot. Still saved his par right there.
Yeah, good job. Good job there, not limiting the damage. And it actually got a little harder this year, though, because of the water again, as Phil kind of takes a seat there. Phil is a very emotional putt misser. He lets it all out there when he misses a putt. And
I think since he's looking downhill, maybe his hat came into play on that one.
Maybe.
He just needs a little bit more upward brim of the hat to have more viewing.
KT will clean up his par as well, but like I was saying, the OB is actually a little tighter this year. It was lower down on the rocks last year, but because of the conditions, we didn't want anybody to walk on those rocks and slip and fall and hurt themselves. So
I think it played well.
Good.
I like the out of bounds on top right there.
It's a fun hole. This is, like I said, one of my favorite holes on the course for sure.
All right, once again, I am to 6 under. Phil is at even, KT 2 under, Joey 2 under, and Brandon at 6 under. I think KT and Joey with the pars. And then we are headed to hole number 9, 280 feet. And this one's pretty standard, slight hyzer to the right, getting it to fade back into the trees. Definitely a hole you want to pick up.
Yeah, and for pro-level players with a good arm, the sign doesn't really come into play. For a noodly arm like myself, who sometimes tends to throw low, I was terrified of this sign when I was playing it last year.
I didn't even think of the sign. I didn't know what you were talking about.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So while on video it may look like it's in the way, for these guys it really shouldn't be, except for maybe KT, and I only say that because he and I have pretty similar games.
So the first 2 shots right there, Brandon had a decent shot. I actually kept mine way too wide. This is definitely one of those holes that if you're not really in line with the basket, I'll say in line with the basket, you don't really have a look for birdie because of the low-hanging branches and the really tight trees. As you can see, KT comes a little bit early on that one. He does have a little bit of a look from there. Phil in his hat. Teeing up. I think he's going mid-range on this shot. It's not too far. It's only 280 feet.
Yeah, and with the hyzer, you probably want to disc up a little bit and carry a little bit further, but, Phil trusts his discs, and looks like he's going to have a putt. I think he's that pink disc in front of KT there. He gave it a nice bid.
Yeah, that's a tough, slow and hyzer putts in the woods. I can say they're not my specialty. Whosever specialty they are, I congratulate them because that is a very
Yeah,
hard putt
very
to
tough,
have. Is
yeah.
the slow left
Yeah.
to right fading putt. Brandon,
I was not expecting that. He's been playing very well. BB's also a very good putter, and he's been trying to keep pace with you and going back and forth, shot for shot. But you
Yeah,
get one here.
I don't know if a little bit of the different stance maybe threw him off a little bit because there is he had a little bit of a straddle look.
Yeah, so BB can't capitalize on you going long, and he'll just stay 3 back. Obviously, still plenty of golf left to go as these guys are going to tap out and finish up the front 9 for us.
And Phil in his hat tapping out. Along with KT just tapping in the pars right there. Pretty surprising not to pick up some of the birdies. Nobody picked up the birdie on its 280-foot hole. It's a little tough,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
what can you say?
Did Joey get a birdie?
I think Joey did tap his in. I retract my statement.
Come on, man.
You gotta pay
Give him
attention.
some love.
There it
Yep,
is.
there
Joey
it
did
is.
pick up the
Bird.
birdie.
BRD bird.
Did it up. All right, so that is after hole number 9. We are headed to Howard's highlights. How about Brandon with the backhand on hole 2? My putt on hole number 2.
Are you guys playing doubles, or are you playing from Brandon's drive there?
This is straight up Howard's highlights right here. Commentators, myself and Mr. Idris Garcia, as we watch Phil George rip a nice fairway driver on hole number 4.
Isaac. Yes, hole number 4.
We're watching KT throw down the hill on hole number 6. Nice backhand ace run right here.
Yeah, really nice play. Keeping the tree out of play, but keeping it wide enough to bring the hill also out of play. Playing it softly on top there.
All Snowy Joey with a nice uphill putt.
Yep, dead center. Really nice. And that I forgot to mention that was a slippery tee pad.
All right, guys, that was the front 9. Make sure to watch the back 9.
All right, say cheese. No. Good job.